Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026, and in this evening's video, we're going to be going over all the latest and greatest for the upcoming weather pattern. We're going to be going over temperatures, moisture, all those things, all the things you're used to seeing on this channel for the longer range discussion. So glad to be back today. This evening specifically, I did not make this morning's video because I was asleep. If you weren't aware, I was on a ski trip over this weekend. Had a ton of fun, enjoyed myself a lot. Shout out to Bo. You guys have no idea who that is, but he knows who he is. But great guy. But anyway, had a ton of fun on that, and just am very happy to be back and very excited to make this video and get into it with you guys again. So we're going to start off now. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you've not done so already, and please leave a comment down below where you are watching from. It'd be greatly appreciated. So we're going to start this off looking at the current radar, and right now it's kind of unsuspecting, but we have had a major blizzard unfold today across areas of the Northeast and areas of New England. So we're going to start out west first and just kind of make our way east. Up in the areas of the northwest corner of the country, we do have some higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain. Nothing too crazy about this at all. But the real story was over here. What you see, there's two separate areas. You see an area over the Midwest, even getting down into the Southern Alps, of just areas of snow. This is called Northwest Flow snow. There's a lot of science that goes into this, but pretty much this is just kind of light snow that funnels in behind these systems, mainly in the higher elevations or coming off the lakes. And then you can see the big picture up here. And this is what's left of the blizzard. Definitely still blizzard conditions in areas here. Areas I know of, southern New England got over 30 inches of snow. I will have to see in the days that follow what the actual totals ended up being, but it was common across areas of the southern New England area, Long Island up through Boston, out on the Cape to get over a foot and a half of snow. So very, very high totals in these areas, and it's still ongoing up in areas of Maine. So we'll have, by the time we wake up tomorrow, this should be starting to roll out. So moving on from this, I did want to show you this. I'm going to pause it right about here. Do you see these right here? And there's some more over here, and there's some more down here. These are wildfires. It's not common necessarily that you get to see these things so dramatically from space like this. But you can see those smoke streamers. And then, like right here, do you see how they're black? That's the satellite picking up on these hot temperatures and these fires. So definitely be careful across areas of the southeast today, as it's very windy. It doesn't matter, guys, if it's cold outside. If the fuel on the ground for fires, like the brush, is dry and it's windy, fires don't care what temperature it is. So moving past that, it's a perfect segue into our winter storm warnings and red flag warnings, all those highest criteria things that we're used to seeing. So starting kind of on the Rockies here, a lot of wind-related warnings here, high wind watches, high wind warnings lining the highest elevations. There are avalanche warnings up in southern Montana, or northern Montana. And then working your way down a little bit, there are winter storm warnings up in areas of Wyoming. It's very hard to list all of these areas, I will say. And you get down further to the south, and in this color, we have red flag warnings in this area. So definitely pay attention. And this is a good time to mention, guys, that your use of common sense is very important. You see how in areas of Arkansas we just saw those fires, there aren't red flag warnings. Well, that's because uh, maybe it was a surprise. Maybe, something specific started these fires. But if you should be able to discriminate whether it be a good idea or a bad idea to do any outdoor burning. Just want to mention that. But going down into areas of Florida, we do have freeze warnings in areas, as this shot of cold air associated with this blizzard will be quite intense going into tonight into tomorrow. So that you have freeze warnings down there, winter storm warnings and the highest elevations of West Virginia into Pennsylvania, even down into areas of North Carolina in the highest elevations. And then in all these areas that just received all of this snow, black ice will develop this evening. That's what these teal colors indicate here. And we still do have blizzard warnings in areas of the down east areas of Maine, areas of southern New England here that will expire in by the time we're waking up tomorrow, pretty much. So there's a whole lot of bad going on in this area. A lot of power outages, terrible road conditions. I-95 is impassable in a lot of locations. So something for the history books. Something for the history books. So this is a day 2 outlook here. And the reason I'm showing you this is a excessive rainfall risk. Currently, the Storm Prediction Center has not outlined any risk areas for days 1 through 3. So I'm showing you any other higher criteria things. This is the risk of flash flooding. So in areas that you see in yellow here in the highest elevations of California, this is where you have a 15% risk of exceeding flash flooding criteria. So it's just something to watch. I'm just showing you this. I'm going to show you either this or the Storm Prediction Center outlook. Moving past that, nothing for day 3, and then nothing for today, other than this small marginal risk. So moving past this, we have I'm going to have timestamps up throughout this video. I keep forgetting to mention that. But starting off in the eastern U.S. here, the western U.S. is going to take a back seat because you guys are really quieting down. We're going to go over that in a second. But here's the Euro for the eastern U.S. starting off tomorrow morning. So this blizzard, this coastal low, gets out of our way. I do think as we work into the 25th, 26th maybe, we have some sort of energy that rolls through. So on the Euro from this morning, it's a little earlier, working into this coming Wednesday, day after tomorrow. We've got snow in areas of the Northeast once again. So that rolls through. There's another little area of energy. Tries to get going on the 26th with some smaller areas of snow in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, nothing too crazy. And it rolls off. There's moisture, obviously, to the south of that. Then we have kind of a clipper system. This is March 1st. This is to start the month off. I do want to note something. Actually, a few different things. You see these blue lines kind of go down like this and go back up. Those are our upper air, like geopotential height lines. So this indicates a trough, like an animal feeding trough. That's what this is supposed to resemble. And when I see that, what that tells me is that we have cold air kind of spilling down like this, even maybe down in this area. And it lines up because you can see in areas of Arkansas, Kansas here, we even have areas of heavier snow developing. And I'm not saying this is a forecast. I'm just going to show you this because I think it's possible. I think this upcoming pattern, we'll go over that as well towards the end of this video, will be supportive of the kind of middle tier of the country, kind of right in here, and then obviously into the Northeast. Northeast is going to be a big target area, I do think, over the next 16 days, couple weeks, whatever, for just seeing these smaller scale snow events. But that comes in and then leaves. And then we get into March 3rd, and the Euro has a reasonably sized winter storm rolling through the Midwest, goes up into the Northeast. Kind of everything almost always with this pattern seems to end up in the Northeast in some form or fashion. Why that is, I'm not exactly sure. We're definitely going to have shots at severe weather over the next couple weeks. We're getting into March. I mean, that's what you'd expect, especially as you work towards the middle of March. I mean, this right here, for example, you've got your cold air and denoted by this blue way up here to the north. So I wouldn't worry one bit about it being too cold, and we have a big line of storms. This is not a forecast. I'm just going to mention the idea of it, and that's the end of the run. So the GFS is pretty much the same, with obviously there's some differences. We're starting this off tomorrow morning. This system comes through, gives the Northeast some snow. And the GFS as well kind of shows this February 26th system in areas of like West Virginia, Virginia, Maryland. It's a little bit more intense, but the GFS does have a cold air bias, meaning it just is a bit cooler with everything. So you're going to see more winter weather on the GFS normally, not always, but normally. That rolls in and rolls out. And then to start the month off, you got these blue lines kind of diving south. So an expansive trough in the eastern and northern areas of the country, not specifically just the Northeast, just areas you see in under those dotted blue lines. But this is March 1st. We have some winter weather breaking out, so it shows something as well. Even in similar areas, say Arkansas. So there's agreement there. It's 150 hours away, but the types are uncertain, the precipitation types that is. So it's a little hard to tell, but it's more expansive, and it's a big Northeast event once again. Nothing like what we just saw. And there's another clip that dives in for the Northeast. Then a big expansive overrunning event in the northern plains, getting into the northern Midwest, up into the Northeast. A lot of just energy on the GFS, just a lot more going on. Then we have this kind of low cutting across the country, gives a more intense looking winter storm to areas of the Northeast, including some ice, not a forecast. And this is the end of the run. So what I want you to gain from this, both of what I just showed you, is that it really seems like this is our corridor for the most intense stuff to go on. Because you kind of get lows that go, track like this or track like this. And we have cold air that's kind of residing up here. That if it will, kind of poke down here or poke down over here, we get more winter weather to form as opposed to just rain. So moving past that, I will show you the western U.S. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Starting off tomorrow morning, there is some higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain per usual, but I honestly think that your active pattern for weather has come to an end, at least for a while. There's obviously going to be higher elevation snow, but I mean, there just really isn't anything too major that happens in the western U.S. Now, I also will say something that is very important, and that is most of our synoptic scale, our large scale systems like the one we just saw, originate off of the Rockies. They don't originate over here. They kind of originate right here. Severe weather works that way. A lot of these systems work that way. So it isn't shocking that you don't see some big, hurricane looking low pressure going through the areas of the western U.S. It's not how it works. But also, that being said, there aren't specific systems to watch, in my opinion. So moving on to the GFS, starting off tomorrow morning into the afternoon, we got some higher elevation snow. But I mean, there really just isn't a whole lot. There's some rain, there's some snow here. Everything is elevation driven. If you're on a ridge top, you have much higher chance of seeing snow than your neighbors in the lower elevations. And that's the end of the run. There wasn't anything too major to discuss in this area. So I'm going to keep showing you guys the Western U.S., but I'll spend less time on it. So now moving into our AI guidance here. This is the European AI starting off tomorrow. It shows that northeast system again on the 25th, and it also shows this system on the 26th into the 27th. It's a little bit more expansive with it, starting it off maybe even back into areas of Iowa. So it's just a little bit more long duration of an event and more intense for the northeast. And I mean, there's a sub 1,000 millibar low just off areas of southern New England again. I'm not saying this is going to match what you just saw, but uh, it's a pretty similar setup here with cold air funneling in behind. So something to watch. I'm not too concerned about this. And that rolls out. And then you get towards to start the month off. It's a bit warmer to start the month. This bold blue line is the freezing line aloft. So areas to the north of it you would typically expect to be frozen precipitation. But I do also want to note in areas of Arkansas, between the 1st and the 2nd of March, we have some sort of winter weather in areas of Arkansas. So that's a third model that agrees. It even gets snow in areas of Virginia here. Even maybe a mix down into North Carolina. This is on the 3rd. So something to watch there. And this is the end of the run. These AI models only go out 10 days, at least on this website. So you really can't go too far out. It's about 10 days. But notice how, if I kind of put this in motion, everything kind of ends up in the northeast. Like almost all of these systems kind of cut up to the north, and the northeast gets a lot of snow. So something to watch. This is the GFS AI model. Shows that 25th system, 26th systems, very, very similar. It looks almost exactly like it. Maybe a little bit weaker with that surface low, but those are really fine details. And this is to start the month. And so we have this area of moisture that's frozen. It's just a bit further to the north. Obviously, Arkansas is down here, so it's just several hundred miles to the north. On a large scale, that's not too significant. You have time to move this all over the place. This is about a week away. And we do have snow in areas of Virginia. We even get some sort of sleet, freezing rain mix to fall. And then it ends up in the northeast once again. And then this is the end of the run. So not a whole lot going on at this point. But even our AI guidance agrees on these kind of shorter term systems here. So if you clicked on this timestamp, we're going to be going over our snowfall and what we can expect. Once we start off March, I will start to not show you this as much. I'll stop showing you this, the way I should have said it. And we'll start focusing more on severe weather. Our snow can continue. I mean, it's late February, we just got a blizzard. I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's also not the most common thing ever. But as we get towards March, I will be more hesitant to show you just straight snowfall graphics like this. But we're going to show them to you now. Here's the European ensemble. Let me figure out what I'm doing here. I'm just going to pull it to the end. So the European ensemble between now and the next 15 or 16 days. So it's a really long range type of thing here. And you definitely will notice that areas of the Northeast are a hotspot area. Obviously, Canada is a hotspot area. And then the highest elevations out west are a hotspot area. But I mean, nothing's crazy about this to me. Nothing screams something we need to watch closely or anything. I mean, you can zoom in here. We have over a half-inch mean, over a 1-inch mean down in areas of Kansas, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, we move off to the east a little bit, and I mean, there's somewhat of a signal even down into North Carolina between now and the next 16 days, but it's not like we have blues down here in Arkansas or anything like that. There's no crazy agreement. But let me show you like the run before this that we would have looked at if I made a video. This signal was definitely further to the south. This also had something to do with this system that we just tracked. So it's a little hard. I think our model guidance might be somewhat affected by this blizzard. So maybe in tomorrow's video, it's be a little bit more cleaned up. Like all this stuff in the northeast, just offshore, is from the system we're seeing right now. So a little bit hard to tell. But the European ensemble is not honking the horn at anything crazy out of place, I should say. So here's the European AI and its ensemble through the next 15 days, 16 days, pretty much the same, and it looks a lot of the same. It's even a little bit less in areas of the northern plains. We do have this little kind of signal right there, but again, nothing's crazy about this. But I do want you guys to see, I think the European AI ensemble really points it out well, that the Northeast U.S. and the Northern Midwest Great Lakes regions will be highlight areas for snow over the next couple weeks. And then you look at some operational runs. Like here's the European model from this morning. It dropped over like 3 inches, 3.5 inches in areas of Arkansas from that quick hitting event. So that is something that I would want to pay attention to. And it shows these kind of systems that cut down from the north. They kind of dive south and then they dive back north into the northeast. I mean, it's hard to tell exactly what all you're seeing. And again, some of this stuff over here, out over the water, especially, is clutter from the system we're seeing right now. But this is only from now through the next week. So I'll take it out to the end. Just see how much the northeast lit up. I mean, go from here and watch the northeast to right here. The northeast just lit up. I think because a lot of our storm systems kind of end up in the northeast. That's what I gained from that. Now, the European AI model, I'll give you the latest run of it. Let's see here. This is from now to the next week. So it shows somewhat of a signal for areas of like Missouri here, but again, nothing crazy. I think we're really going to quickly start seeing our snow signals and our snow probabilities start to decrease because we're getting towards the end of February. And then we look at the GFS model. This is the latest run. And something does somewhat catch my eye here, and that is these like areas right here. It isn't typical necessarily that you get snow, so that tells me we kind of have a low pressure that kind of cuts down and then cuts up here. And so it delivers snow to the north of it. I mean, that's the really broad overview here, but yeah, nothing crazy. And this is between now and the next week. Pull it out to the end, and the Northeast really lights up. I mean, look at the GFS here dropping over 40 inches of snow in areas of New York. Not a forecast. This is also over the next like 16, 17 days. So just look to the areas of the South. And really the reason I show you guys these maps is because I'm trying to show you if there are areas that are out of place for snow. For example, if you had these bright colors in central Alabama, well, that would be weird. But areas of Canada, you wouldn't, of course they're getting snow. It's wintertime and it's Canada. But I do, from the GFS model here, the Northeast really does stick out to me as a target area over the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks or so. So moving past that and into our pattern discussion part of this video, we're going to be looking at the European ensemble for most of this. In fact, I think all of it. And I'm going to show you a few different products. So this first thing that we're looking at here is our upper levels, our mid levels rather, 3 or 4 miles above your head. And this is our heights above mean sea level. So pretty much, if you have a storm system, you have a low pressure, the heights will be lower, the pressure will be lower. On this map, that's denoted by this blue right here. So that would tell me there's a low pressure right there. And all this blue, this is starting off tomorrow morning, is associated with this blizzard and this shot of cold air. So there's just lower pressure in this area. And then this purple, this red that you see up here and down here, all these areas, is a ridge. of higher heights, higher pressure, it brings warmer air aloft. I do want to say something. Upper air ridges can bring warmer air. Surface ridges can bring warmer air, but they can also bring really cold air. So you have to be careful about saying that ridges always bring high pressure. Just want to note that. This is starting off tomorrow morning. And so it's pretty quick transition from now until the end of the month. But this is 25th, 26th. Let's just take this frame here. We do have, you see this blue up here, you can connect the blue all the way down to the Carolinas and then all the way back up. That means we have cold air diving down from Canada into these areas, specifically right in here. So for these kind of 2 consecutive events, this northeast event on the 25th and this kind of cutting system for areas of maybe the mid-Atlantic into the northeast are supported by our pattern here. Moving past that, we get a ridge to build in to end the month. So this is starting in March here, and this is the pattern we see for a while. You kind of have a ridge to the south and this cold air up to the north. Is it crazy cold air? No, but at the same time, you kind of have cold air in Canada, maybe the kind of far northern tier of the country, and you have warmer air to the south. So you take that. Let me put these back in order. I don't know what happened here. You take that and you look at this. This is our temperatures. Let me start this off here. I do want to note this is starting off tomorrow morning, and this is why we have freeze warnings up in areas of Florida and southern Georgia. These temperatures will be well below average in this area, which is why you have these warnings. Moving past that, do you see how? I kind of put this in motion. You see a lot of red, and the reds on this map indicate warmer than average temperatures, and the blues indicate below average temperatures at the surface, that is. But if I put this in motion, you'll see how there's cold air, these blues to the north, that occasionally kind of dip down into the areas of the lower 48. And more than anything else, what I want you guys to gain from that is that if you were to draw on a map like this, you got cold air in this area. Typically, this is a bad frame to do it in. For the most part, you have colder air, and this obviously points north. If you have these kind of extensions of it down into this area, or a shot of it over here, well, then what you're going to get is that when these low pressures form and they kind of cut across, they're going to have their rain to the south, and they're going to have, if you have cold air that kind of dips down, you're going to have your chance for snow to happen. And that's why on both of our models, all 3, because we looked at AI, of our models, we have these kind of systems that cut across that have areas of smaller scale snow to the north and then rain to the south, maybe in severe weather. So again, our pattern really does back this up, but I really do, that for the most part over the next couple weeks, the predominant pattern across much of the U.S. will be above average. That's what I gained from this. And then the thing I moved out of order here, this is a map, Euro Ensemble, of our total precipitation. And I think it does a pretty good job. This does not tell you snow, it doesn't tell you rain. This is just liquid precipitation in the atmosphere in any form that it could fall in. And this is the total over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, your highest values are right in here. Don't focus on what the values actually are. It does not matter. You can see how what this tells me, this is our highlight area. Kind of like all of what we were just saying. Obviously, areas out west in the higher elevations could see more moisture. But the kind of mid-south, the Midwest, the Central Plains, the East Central Plains, that is, even up into areas of the Northeast, have the potential to just see more moisture. So I think that this area specifically is just going to be more wet than average, that is. And if you have cold air that dives down, you're going to have chance for snow. And because we have so much cold air bottled up to the north, I think we have the chance to see these kind of, plunges of colder air down from the north because it kind of gets unleashed a little bit. But again, I'll say this because I said it already, as we work our way to the end of the month, we're almost there, and then start March off and get going, you really stop looking for snow. You take a map like this and you would say, okay, well, this area right here, we want to watch for severe weather because the most moisture occurs. And in late February, you don't really watch for that too much, but it's not that it can't happen. We had tornadoes happen. In fact, I think they named one of the Indiana tornadoes an EF3. So significant tornadoes at this point. but it's not common. As you work your way into March, definitely becomes more common to see severe weather. So all of that being said, thank you guys for watching this video and tuning in. I appreciate the viewership and the attention in the last video that I posted, guys. It's been several days now, but I do appreciate that. Feel free to leave a comment down below, any constructive criticism you may have. I'd love to hear it. It's a new channel. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Tune in. I should have a video out tomorrow morning going over tomorrow's weather, and we'll make a video tomorrow evening discussing all this same stuff. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.